Hello, everybody. I'm going to show you a small demo about AppDefense. I prepared this lab for the demo. Also, be reminded I have already a video about the installation steps of AppDefense. So if you're interested, you can check that. It's the first post in the blog. But let's look at what we can do with AppDefense. So as you may know, AppDefense, what it does, it's going to learn how your VMs are behaving, and it's going to build like a list of processes and connections that your VMs do. And once you approve that, and you agree with those behaviors, and you put your VMs on protection mode, anything that deviates from that list, depending on your remediation actions and your rules, it's going to be either blocked or put in quarantine, or so on, so on. So this is really good because instead of chasing bad, instead of waiting until a hacker comes to our environment or we get a virus, we can prevent that. So let me show you. So we have first the scopes. The scopes would be like having a group. Okay, so let's gonna create one. Let's name it test. Create, and inside this group, I'm gonna use. I need to add a service. I would always recommend to add one kind of service only at the beginning, at least for you. So let's add a service. The service would be what your VM does. It's a web server, it's a printer, it's a MySQL. So you need to define that. So you create the service. In this case, let's use test service as a name. And we have here, you can do, you can select any different service. It doesn't matter at the end. I mean, selecting one or another, it's just for yourself. So let's select web. You can add also a description. Let's go next. And in here, you will be able to select the VMs that you want to be member of this service. So if you have a web service, you should be adding web servers on it. Bear in mind that if you have already a VM in a scope that is part, and it's part of already of a service, it will not appear in the list because it's already taken. So I have VM1 and VM2, Windows 1 and 2, and those are the latest that I prepare. So we can just check, take this one. Let's go to select next. We can also allow, if you already know that your web server, it's going to use a specific software, a process, and it's going to make specific connections, you can add those here by default. In my case, I don't have any, so I just click finish. That's going to create the service. It's adding the VM to it, and well, it's just completely new, right? And I'm not even inside the VM. I didn't set any process, nothing. So the view is nothing. But usually we would leave this scope that right now when you see this, it means that it's in discovery mode, which means it's in a phase that AppDefense is learning the processes, the connections, and basically the behaviors of your VMs. So usually we should leave a scope in discovery mode for 2-3 weeks, depending. And once that is done and you learn all the behaviors, we will come here to the top and select verify and protect. Let me show you, because this was just a test, we can delete that, delete the scope. Yep. Okay, so we have, I have this scope that has one web service. As far as I know, it was a web service. Yeah, and then I have only one VM. And as you can see here, I didn't use really that VM. So it's just learning the processes, the Windows processes. So for example, we can see here the SDC host. If we click inside, we will see the MD5, the path of that process. We will be able to see the SHA-256, and also if we click in the CLI, we will be able to see all the protocols that is using ports and public IPs and so on. So, for example, in this is, I think, is my Windows VM 01. So let's go to this guy. Let's check one of the behaviors, right? So, yeah. Okay, let me just for a moment copy this this guy, the path. Okay, perfect. So let's start here, and I just want to verify that the SHA-256 that I can see in the AppDefense Manager corresponds to the one that I have in the VM. So let's see the command prompt. I'm going to run it as administrator. Okay, so in here, just give me a moment. I'm going to type the whole command, and I will then start the recording again. Hey, so this is the command. So let's go inside. It reports that it's the, let me copy this. Oops. Well, I can. Yeah, and also I'm in the web console. Yeah. So C7 DV, and it ends with E370. So let's go to this guy. And C7 DV, and it ends with E370. So I'm completely sure that this is the SHA-256 that I can see in my VM. I think it was this guy, yeah. And also we can try also with the MD5. So let's check that out. MD5, sorry, MD5. Yep, so E382, let's check that, E382, and it ends with EC47. EC47, okay, that's correct. So we can say that nobody changed that SHA-256 or MD5, so that is the real process in Windows, and AppDefense Manager is able to tell you that it's the correct one. Cool, so that is all. When you have a learned behavior, that it's going to be allowed forever, unless you delete that behavior. So in here, we can see that AppDefense learned that the Windows machine, it's running SBC host on it. It's of course, it's a Windows process. It's allowing it because by default, AppDefense it's not gonna it will allow all the processes, right? And you need to be the one saying, no, I don't want to allow this process. I want this process to be maybe in the blacklist, or as soon as this process starts, I want to apply some remediation actions or avoid this. So in the discovery mode, all the processes are allowed, okay? That is super important. Once you have a process, even if it's in discovery mode or protected mode, that is the one that doesn't have this icon, you can always manage a process. So you would go to the behavior list, you would select the process, and you can come here, edit the process to add more information. Maybe you want to add further IPs or change the boards or make any changes. You can delete that process. And if you delete that, once the process starts again in the VM, it will be learned as a behavior again. Because in this case, as we are seeing here, this is in the discovery mode. And also, you can manage the process and put it in the whitelist or the blacklist. Bear in mind that whitelist and blacklist, this is at the org level. So, and as we said, AppDefense Manager is a multi-tenant cloud portal, which means that if I have more than one environment, more than one vSphere environment, and I put, let's imagine as an example, I put Chrome in the blacklist. Nobody in both vCenters vCenter environments in the machines, in the virtual machines that are in scopes or services, in those virtual machines, I won't be able to use Chrome because that is blacklisted. And blacklist, it's at the org level. And the same happens with whitelist. So this is a really extreme selection. So I would recommend not to use it unless you're super, you know that there is a process that you want to allow into your entire environment. But remember that the whitelist and blacklist only applies to machines that are part, to your virtual machines that are part of services, that those services are part of scopes, okay? So let's go back to this is behaviors. Those are the behaviors, and this is in this machine, in this scope, is still learning the behaviors of my one machine in this case because I have only one. Let's go and check. Sorry, this guy. A scope that is already in protection mode, which means that the behaviors here that AppDefense was learning. In this one, I have also one VM only and one service. So all the behaviors, all the processes and connections that my VM did in the past were allowed. And I put at a specific moment, I put this scope into protection mode. Now, anything that deviates from this list, it's going to be blocked. Why? Because in the rules, I selected block and send alert. So if something happens, it will block that connection, in this case, an outbound connection or inbound connection, and it's going to send me an alert. So bear in mind that these rules, the rules are applied at the service level. But in this case, it's going to apply only to the VM that is making that inbound or outbound connection. So let's see in the behaviors. Okay, so in this VM, that this is the VM, I can see the members here. You can check which are the VMs part of the service. Is the number 2. So let's go to the VM, and we will start a connection to Facebook, just as an example. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, okay, so let's look for, oops. Okay, so let's look for Facebook, right? Ah, come on. Let's open. Oh no, it's completely blocked. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, so my internet access is blocked. I have internet access. I can ping Google. I have internet, but since I don't have as an allowed behavior to use Chrome to reach Facebook, that was not in the allowed behaviors. That's not going to happen if I try. Why? Because any outbound connection, that is not in the list, it's going to be blocked, and I will get an alert. So always, all the remediation actions that AppDefense applies, they are applied through the ESXi host. So that's going to be applied at the moment. But in order to see the alert, sometimes you need to wait for 1 minute or 2 minutes, because it's going to gather all the information about your service, your scope, the VM, the connections, and why, all that information, and it's going to pull it to the ESXi host, and from the ESXi host to the appliance, and from the appliance to the portal, to this AppDefense manager. So there we go. We have already a red dot in here. That means that you have a new event. So you have a new alert. So we can see here in this guy, yeah, the first one is my Windows. It's a Chrome process. And also, it's going to tell you that there is an outbound connection, and as a result, it got blocked, and AppDefense is sending you this alert. So let's go inside. In here, I can see that it's triggered by AppDefense, not any other software, like, I don't know, for example, NSX or vCenter. It's AppDefense who did that. It's a new process. It's going to tell you the Windows VM, the VM that triggered this alert, the scope, and the service that is part of. Then also you will see the path. Again, this is for the process. You will have the MD5, the SHA-256, and also it will tell you the observed behavior. It's going to tell you the protocol, the remote ports, the remote addresses, and so on. And also here, for example, I can select to clear all the monitoring events. So this alert, it's going to be gone. It will be gone. If I do that, I can, let's imagine that I want to allow everybody working in this environment that is using that Windows VM to use Chrome and connect to Facebook. And I want to allow that. But before I didn't thought about it, and that's why it was not in the behavior list. So I can add this as a behavior. And next time that somebody from that VM tries to use Chrome to reach Facebook, it's going to be allowed. And he will be able to do that. So I can do that. Or if this is just an alert, I can apply any other remediation action. Bear in mind that the rules, in this case for this service, for this VM, we can see here in the rules that is automatic block and send alert. This will apply only to the process and the connection that was not in the allowed behaviors. If in that VM there is another process, a different one, let's say, just as an example, for example, Explorer, and I allowed using Explorer to connect to LinkedIn, for example, it's going to allow that. It won't apply the rule, and people will be able to use Explorer to reach LinkedIn without any problem. And the block and send alert, it's going to be only applied to all attempts to connect to Facebook through Chrome. Okay, so that is super important. Also, we can edit those rules. So I can come here into the rules and say, okay, I don't want to block and send alert, but I want to put the VM in quarantine. This is really severe. Quarantine, it's going to block the entire VM, all the connections, all the outbound and inbound connections on that VM. It doesn't matter if it's Chrome trying to reach Facebook. It's going to block that and also any other connection in your VM. So this is kind of extreme. And this is achieved with NSX. I will do another demo about that, okay? So I will show how quarantine works. And also remediation actions, some of them, they can apply it automatically or manually. And manually, it's basically you need to apply the remediation action. So let's cancel that. Let's say that, so I was thinking to show you if I allow this behavior, Chrome, remember that this is the behavior. Let's see if I can add it as an allow behavior. Yes, I'm allowing this. Okay, that happens. So the thing is that Facebook has more than one public IP. So, and I used only one. So maybe if I try to reach again, it may try to contact to another public IP of Facebook, and maybe it will be blocked again. That can happen. In a professional environment, of course, you would allow an environment or a server that you have that it has only one IP. If it has more than one IP, then you should add those to the list. In my case, I don't have the entire list of Facebook IPs, so I'm not going to do that. And maybe I will be blocked again. I don't know. Let's see. Facebook. Oops. Okay. Facebook. Yeah, it got blocked. So this is because it's trying to, Facebook has more than one public server where people can connect to. And in the first attempt, I used one server, and in the second one, I used another one. And that's why it got blocked. But that's fine. I knew that would happen. So let's check back to the Windows services. I allowed the Chrome as an allowed behavior. And in here, as I said, if you put all the public IPs of your servers or something like that, that's going to be allowed in the future when people uses Chrome to connect to those servers. You can always, I think I said that already, you can edit the information, and you can put your IPs, change and modify the ports, the protocols, and so on. So this is really powerful. I hope you enjoyed this small demo about just one of the capabilities, block and send alert. I think it's really nice. I will try to make another one about quarantine soon, once I have time, of course. But I will let you know, guys. And if you have any question, let me know. I will try to or answer or make another demo for that. Okay, see you and have a great weekend. Bye.